Hello everybody, I am incredibly excited today to give you the first demonstration of quite a sophisticated AI running on blockchain. That blockchain, of course, is the internet computer, the only blockchain in the world today that can run compute at scale. There's a lot of talk about, blockchains for AI, tokens for AI, and things like that. This is the real
world
deal.
is full of loud trends and short-lived hype cycles. Every week there's a new chain claiming to fix everything, a new upgrade promising unmatched speed, or a new token promising the next big breakthrough. But while the crowd chases noise, something interesting has been happening quietly in the background. A blockchain that many people once wrote off is slowly proving it was never the problem. The world just wasn't ready for what it built. This is the story of ICP's silent comeback. When ICP launched, its vision sounded unrealistic. It didn't want to be another smart contract chain. It wanted to rebuild the internet itself on-chain. It wanted websites, apps, social platforms, and entire digital ecosystems running directly on decentralized infrastructure instead of Amazon or Google servers. Back then, most chains struggled to handle simple transactions, so the idea of running full applications on-chain felt impossible. But here we are years later, and the industry finally understands the issues ICP saw from day one. Centralized hosting weaknesses, expensive storage, fragmented architectures, slow and insecure cross-chain systems, and nearly every blockchain claims it now wants to support real computation, real apps, and even AI. ICP already built the tools for that. Its comeback isn't flashy. It's not fueled by a price spike or a marketing wave. It's happening quietly as developers realize the network's architecture solves the problems that the rest of Web3 is only now acknowledging. ICP wasn't early by months, it was early by years, and now the future it predicted is here. This video is created for educational and informational purposes only. It does not promote or endorse any financial product, investment, or cryptocurrency. All information presented here is based on publicly available sources and independent analysis. Viewers are encouraged to conduct their own research before making any financial or technological decisions. The blockchain industry has always moved in waves. A new idea arrives, sparks hype, draws in crowds, and then fades once the next trend appears. But every now and then, a project emerges that isn't built for the moment. It's built for a future that most people haven't caught up to yet. That's the story behind the internet computer, better known as ICP. Its comeback today isn't loud or dramatic. It's steady, almost quiet, but more powerful than most people realize. For years, ICP looked misunderstood. It was dismissed by traders who only saw price charts, ignored by influencers who never took the time to explore its architecture, and overlooked by developers because its vision appeared too ambitious. The idea of running an entire internet ecosystem on-chain sounded unrealistic when the world was still struggling to scale basic smart contracts. Yet everything ICP promised back then aligns perfectly with the problems Web3 is now trying to solve. This script breaks down how ICP became the blockchain that was years ahead of its time, why its comeback is gaining momentum, and what it means for the future of decentralized technology. The early vision that seemed impossible. When ICP launched, the crypto world didn't know what to make of it. The project claimed it could run websites, apps, social platforms, DeFi systems, and even enterprise tools directly on-chain without relying on Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud, or any traditional servers. At the time, most blockchains could barely handle simple transactions at scale. The idea of putting large apps on-chain felt unrealistic. The industry was focused on Layer 2s, roll-ups, sidechains, and temporary fixes. ICP, on the other hand, introduced a different mindset. It didn't want to scale blockchains. It wanted to reinvent the internet itself. Most people couldn't grasp that vision back then. It sounded too big and too complicated, but scaling, security, data storage, and decentralization were already major bottlenecks. ICP simply understood those problems before everyone else. The downfall of early hype. The launch phase hype didn't help. A wave of unrealistic expectations drove the token price upward, creating a bubble that overshadowed the technology. When the bubble burst, people stopped looking at the tech and only cared about the dashboard numbers. The drop became a meme. The name became a joke in certain circles. But behind the scenes, the engineering didn't stop. The team continued to build the systems they had always promised. While everyone else chased speed improvements and token incentives, ICP focused on something far more foundational: creating a decentralized cloud that could run full applications natively on-chain. This era was tough for the community, but it was during this quiet period that ICP transformed into the network it was supposed to become. The shift in the industry. Fast forward to today. The crypto landscape is completely different. The industry now understands that simply adding faster transactions isn't enough. Blockchains are still dependent on centralized cloud hosting. Smart contracts still require off-chain infrastructure. Data storage remains expensive and inefficient. The industry has realized that true decentralization demands more than token incentives. It needs a new approach to computation, networking, and application hosting. Suddenly, ICP's vision doesn't sound unrealistic anymore. It sounds necessary. This shift sets the stage for its silent comeback. While other chains are still discussing modularity, cross-chain communication, and secure storage, ICP has already implemented these solutions. Why ICP's architecture was ahead of its time? ICP introduced something most chains still struggle with: full-stack decentralization. Instead of outsourcing storage, APIs, front-end hosting, and metadata to Web2 servers, ICP brought everything into the chain's core architecture. Traditional smart contracts were never designed to host applications with millions of daily users. They were small scripts meant for simple logic. ICP flipped the definition of a smart contract by introducing canisters, powerful compute units that act like decentralized microservices. These canisters can store large amounts of data, handle complex logic, and scale automatically. This structure lets developers build apps without depending on centralized components. A social media platform, an AI tool, or a storage system can exist entirely on-chain. No Amazon servers, no hidden intermediaries, just decentralized computation. It was impressive in the early days. Today, it feels revolutionary. The silent growth of real on-chain apps. While most blockchains rely on third-party tools and external servers, ICP's ecosystem quietly grew with fully on-chain applications. These weren't simple experiments. They were platforms built entirely on ICP's infrastructure. Social networks with on-chain data, video platforms without centralized hosting, enterprise tools that don't rely on external APIs. These projects didn't appear on trending lists or influencer thumbnails, but their existence proves that ICP's architecture works. And now that the industry is demanding decentralized solutions again, these applications serve as examples of what's possible when you build with long-term vision instead of short-term hype. The rise of AI and why ICP fits the moment. AI integration has become a priority for almost every blockchain. But there's a problem. Most networks can't support AI workloads. They don't have the bandwidth, computing power, or capacity to store and process large datasets. The result is a mix of superficial AI tools that still rely on centralized servers behind the scenes. ICP, however, built its system with advanced computation in mind. Its canister model is more suitable for hosting AI models natively. And as the industry moves toward decentralized AI, chains capable of real computation will take the lead. ICP isn't trying to bolt AI onto outdated infrastructure. It built the infrastructure first, chain key technology and the breakthrough. No one understood. One of ICP's most underrated innovations is chain key technology. This mechanism allows the network to sign messages, connect to other chains, and verify computations with a single public key. The entire chain can be verified quickly without relying on heavy hardware or massive syncing processes. Most people didn't understand how significant this was when it launched. Today, interoperability is a top priority across the industry. Chains are scrambling to connect ecosystems through bridges, messaging layers, and governance extensions. ICP had the foundation ready years ago. Its ability to interact with external networks without complex bridging mechanics is one of the reasons developers are gradually rediscovering it. The SNS model and on-chain governance. Decentralization isn't just about technology. It's also about control. Many blockchains claim to be decentralized while still relying on centralized foundations or controlling entities. ICP introduced the SNS, Service Nervous System, an on-chain governance mechanism that lets developers launch decentralized organizations without middlemen. This system automates governance, treasury management, upgrades, and decision-making. Projects built on ICP don't just run on-chain, they can be managed on-chain too. As more communities demand transparency, fair distribution, and real decentralization, The SNS model has become a strong selling point. It's another area where ICP was early, but the industry now sees its value. The comeback. What's driving renewed attention? ICP's comeback isn't fueled by hype cycles or sudden token spikes. Instead, it's driven by a growing recognition that most blockchains haven't solved their deepest problems. The decentralization people believed they had is often an illusion. The infrastructure is still heavily centralized, the user experience is fragmented, and the scalability debate keeps looping back to temporary fixes. As developers explore new options, ICP stands out because it solves multiple problems at once. The network feels more mature now, its toolkit is cleaner, its applications are live and functional, and its architecture is more aligned with where Web3 is heading. This quiet momentum is building a foundation for long-term adoption rather than short-lived excitement. The crypto industry's turning point. Blockchains today are being stretched beyond their original limits. They are expected to support high-speed payments, AI computation, social networks, and complex enterprise systems. Yet many chains still rely on centralized infrastructure for basic operations. This is the turning point ICP prepared for years ago. It built a network capable of handling heavy workloads natively. It removed external dependencies. It created a model where apps behave more like cloud-native services rather than scripts running on improvised environments. As the industry recognizes these needs, ICP's architecture is finally getting credit for being far ahead of its era. Developers are re-evaluating their tools. One of the strongest signals of ICP's comeback is the rising interest from developers. Many who previously ignored it are taking a second look because the problems they face today match the solutions ICP has already built. Developers want stable environments. They want predictable storage costs. They want cross-chain communication without risky bridges. They want AI integration without building their own infrastructure. ICP offers a toolkit that directly addresses these needs. The platform feels more complete today than it did during its launch. The learning curve is smoother, documentation is clearer, and the community is more supportive. A comeback built on substance, not noise. ICP's resurgence stands out because it's not driven by marketing. There's no aggressive advertising, no viral campaigns trying to force attention. Instead, the network is gaining recognition because more people are finally understanding what it actually does. This kind of comeback is rare in the crypto space. Most revivals depend on hype. ICP is rising because its architecture fits the moment. The world feels closer to the vision that ICP had years earlier, and now that gap is closing. The future of Web3 needs a new foundation. If Web3 wants to compete with traditional technology, it needs infrastructure that can support serious applications. That means scaling beyond simple smart contracts. It means decentralizing storage, computation, and networking. It means creating chains that can interact with AI and handle millions of users without collapsing. ICP predicted this future before the industry recognized the need. Now that Web3 is ready for it, the project feels relevant again. Its silent comeback is a reminder that sometimes the best ideas arrive early, and their value only becomes clear with time. What comes next for ICP? As more developers explore ICP's capabilities, the network's next phase will likely focus on three major areas. Decentralized AI, running AI services natively on-chain, will set ICP apart from chains that rely on external servers. Cross-chain integrations, chain key technology will enable smoother interoperability at a time when the industry is fragmented. Consumer-facing Web3 apps. With canister-based architecture, ICP can support apps that feel like traditional platforms but are fully decentralized. If these areas evolve as expected, ICP could become a central part of the next generation of blockchain applications. The silent comeback becomes visible. ICP's comeback isn't loud, but it's steady. Developers, researchers, and institutions are rediscovering the network. People who once dismissed the project are now exploring its architecture with fresh interest. And as the industry demands solutions that go beyond simple token transfers, ICP's value becomes more obvious. The network was ahead of its time, and the world is finally catching up. ICP's comeback isn't a return to old hype. It's a step into the future it always aimed for. All right, if you learned something new or enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell icon so you don't miss future updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.